Hi, I'm Phoebe and I'm with Yoga TX. Today I'm going to be taking you through a yoga flow designed for runners. And before we start, make sure you have a strap or a towel and a tennis ball handy. We're going to focus on opening the hips, the psoas, and also our feet. We're going to start today's practice by centering on our backs. Once you're on your back, bring your feet mat distance apart and collapse your knees in towards each other. Turn your palms facing up and start to focus on your inhale and your exhale. With each inhale, bringing space into the body, and with each exhale, breathing out that which you do not need. Take a few more breaths in this position, returning your attention over and over again to your inhale and your exhale. This will be your anchor throughout today's practice. On your next inhale, extend your legs and lay here for a breath. On your next exhale, bend your right knee in, wrap your hands around your shin, and pull your knee towards your right armpit. Keep the left leg active by flexing the left foot, and just breathe in here, breathing space into your hip. Now, grab your strap or towel and loop the strap over the ball of the right foot. Firmly grab the strap and press up through the ball of your foot, breathing into the back of that right leg, maintaining the flex in the left foot on the ground. Just breathe in here. This may be enough of a stretch for you, but if you want, if you're particularly flexible or already feeling warm, you can walk your hands up the strap, bringing your leg in a bit closer towards your face. Maintaining that breath. Bring your foot back to center if it isn't already, and on your next exhale, bring your foot out to the right, maintaining the flex. And make sure that your left hip stays anchored on the ground and you're still pressing out through the ball of that right foot, breathing space into your right thigh. Now inhale through center. And tip your leg over to the left, breathing into the IT band, which I know is really tight for most runners. You don't have to go very far across the midline on your body to feel a stretch here. You can play around with walking the foot a bit forward to increase the stretch. Inhale back to center, bend your right knee, remove the strap. Take a breath here and notice the difference between your right and left legs. On your next exhale, bring the left knee in and pull it towards your left armpit. Now we're keeping the right foot flexed on the ground. You can kind of rotate your knee in and getting some movement into that hip. Take another full inhale and full exhale here. Now grab your strap again. Wrap it around the ball of the left foot this time. And press out through the ball of the left foot, keeping the right leg active on the ground. Breathing up and down the back of that leg. Slowly starting to open the hamstrings. And inhaling back to neutral if you haven't. And now inhale, open your left leg. Breathing into the inner thigh on the left side. Remember to anchor your right hip. So only bring your left foot out as far as you can go without lifting the left hip off of the ground. Breathe in here. Inhale back up through center and gently drop it over the midline of the body. And breathe into the left IT band. Again, you can bring your toes a bit forward if you want to increase that stretch. Inhale to center, bend your left knee. Drop your towel over to the side. Bring your knees in. And roll up and down the length of your spine a few times. And cross your feet under. Come on back to all fours. Before we start moving, I want to make sure that our foundation is stable. So make sure your wrists, elbows, and shoulders are more or less in a straight line. And the tendency is for people to have their elbows pointing out, bending like outwards. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the arms so the elbows are pointing behind us. We want to keep a micro bend and not walk out the joint. And our knees should be more or less directly under our hips in the back. This supports the joints in the front and the back of the body. We're going to go through a few rounds of cat-cow. So we're going to inhale, bring our chest through into cow. Exhale, push the ground away, bringing navel to spine into cat. Inhale, coming through to cow. Exhale, actively pushing the ground away, navel to spine. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale to cat. Inhale to neutral spine. We're going to come up to down dog, but before we do, we're going to keep all the alignment just as it is. Curl your toes under. Maintain that gaze on the floor about 6 inches in front of you, and we're going to hover the knees 1 to 2 inches above the ground, bringing navel to spine. So start to bring some heat into the core and the arms. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Just lift your hips, keeping your knees bent. First down dog of the day, or at least for this practice. We want to focus on releasing the low back before we stretch the back of the legs. So keeping your legs bent. Inhale, look up. Exhale, walk your feet to the top of your mat in between your hands and come into a forward fold. Grab opposite elbows. Bend your knees as much as you need to so that your torso rests on your legs. This will help to release the low back here. Sway side to side, breathing out, really letting your head relax. Take an inhale and an exhale. On an inhale, drop your hips so that your thighs are parallel to the ground. And inhale, press into the ground, reverse swan dive up. Look up at your thumbs. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath here. Now we're gonna go to the wall, and we're gonna also need our tennis ball. You wanna just lightly put your fingertips on the wall, and we're gonna start to massage the bottom of the feet. Just slowly rolling back and forth, and if the ball gets away with you, that's fine. It's a little bit of play. Yoga doesn't have to be so serious. And we're gonna start, once you kind of get the feeling for how to balance, bring the ball towards the inside of your foot and roll up and down from the big toe and the inner arch all the way to your heel. Slowly work your way to the outer part of your foot until you get to the outer edge. And try and even massage your pinky toe side of the foot. And roll back. And now roll the ball in between your toes and let your toes spread and grasp the ball and just kind of keep them here rolling back and forth. Now make small circles going to the right and small circles going to the left. Roll it back. Try and get a nice massage on your back heel. Feet are really tight in everybody, but especially athletes and runners. Okay, we're done with that side. Just pause for a minute and feel the difference between your right foot and your left foot. And now we'll switch positions. Again, just starting to roll the ball over your left foot. Just getting a feel for it. Now bring the ball towards your inner left foot. Roll it from the big toe down through the inner arch to the heel. Roll back, coming more towards the midline of your foot. Roll down towards the outside of your foot. And back up. And spread your toes over the ball. Just slowly rolling it, making circles to the right and to the left. And now roll your heel. Get a nice massage there. I know my heels love to get massaged. Okay. And just keep the ball to the side here. We're done using it for today's practice. Now I'm going to take you through a vinyasa flow to build some heat, bring some heat into the arms and shoulders and core, and then we'll start to get into the hips. So we're going to come to the top of our mat into mountain pose. Make sure your feet are more or less underneath your hips, your toes are pointing forward, and you want the outer edges of your feet to be parallel to the edges of the mat. And just an FYI, everybody thinks their hips are way wider than they are. That includes guys too. Your hips are under here. So if you want to find your hips to keep your feet underneath, take your fingers and point them down, straight through the middle of your leg, and that's where your feet should go. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, look up at your thumbs. Exhale, bend your knees, swan dive forward. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, hands to shins. And you're really pressing into your legs here and your legs into your hands. Bend your knees. Keep your gaze on the ground down in front of you to make sure the neck is long. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees so that your hands come flat on the mat and step back into down dog. We'll set up here. Keep your feet hips distance apart. actively pressing into the ground with all four corners of your hand, your fingertips, the base of your knuckles, keeping your elbows wrapping back, just like we did on all fours. And from here, we're gonna inhale and roll forward, slowly with control. And your head is the last thing to come through to plank. And exhale, hips up, back to down dog. We're gonna do this 2 more times. So extending on the inhale with control. And pushing back on the exhale. One more time. Inhaling forward. And lifting your hips, exhaling back. Stay here for 3 breaths. Knit your lower rib cage in, keeping your stomach and the core engaged. Breathing. Inhale your right leg up into 3-legged dog. You want to keep your hips square here, foot flexed, toes pointing towards the ground. And inhale, exhale, bring your knee through, come through plank, set your foot up in between your hands at the front of the mat. And even if your foot goes here, just walk it up. This is a runner's lunge. Stay here and breathe. You want to be light on your fingertips. So you're actively pressing out through your back heel and actively pressing down through your front. Make sure your knee is over your ankle. Continue to breathe here and pretend that there is a string pulling the back of your thigh up, keeping that back leg straight. On our next inhale, we're just gonna inhale and prep to come up on the right leg. Inhale and exhale, come up to all fours. Engage your core and flex your foot. This might be where you stay to open your left hip. If you want, bring your hands to heart center and come on down. If you're here, you can bring your fingertips to the ground and keep your foot active. It will help bring your knee down and on the left side and help to open that hip. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Bring your left foot down to meet your right. Forward fold. Drop your hips. Inhale, come up. Hands to heart center. Take a breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. We did a lot of work on our wrists with the plank. So if you can, bend your knees as much as you need. Slip your hands underneath your feet, palms facing up. Your toes are at the crease of your wrists. And roll forward and roll your toes over your palms and your wrist, compensating for the forward plank movement. Keep your elbows pointing out and your shoulders away from your ears. And just stay here. And release your hands. And this time we're just gonna step back and we're gonna do the other side. So right leg steps back to runner's lunge on this side. Again, set up. Make sure your knee is over your ankle. Your back leg is active. And your fingertips are light. So it's your legs and your core that are supporting you mainly. Breathe in here. And inhale, bend. Exhale, push up. Come into fours. Flex that right foot. Hands to heart center. Stay here. If you want, you can again bring your fingers down, maintaining the flex in the right foot, and breathing into that hip. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bring the right foot to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, drop your hips and come back up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart. Take a full breath. Now we're going to flow down and begin our cool down phase of our practice. It'll be our last down dog of the day, so try and enjoy it. And inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up, lengthening that spine. Exhale, fold. Hands to the mat and step back into down dog. Take a full breath here. Inhale. Sigh out through your mouth. And inhale, look up. Bring your back feet together, bend your knees, and walk or hop to seated. Once seated, kind of move the flesh out from your thighs. Bring your feet in together and hold your feet like you're reading a book. Actively press your feet together, again, to help bring the knees closer to the ground. And your heels of your feet don't have to be very close to your hips here. Whatever's comfortable. And rolling your shoulders back, lengthening the spine here. Breathe, and exhale, tilt forward, keeping your spine straight. And just breathe into your inner thighs. Back up, bring your knees in together with your hands. Now we're gonna do a restorative posture called legs up the wall. It has a different Sanskrit name, but it's just better to call it what it is. So we're gonna move your mat to a wall with the short end flesh up against the base. And walk over and bring I'm using my right hip, but you could do your other side as well. So it's touching the base of the wall. Bring your left hand down and flip your legs up. Adjust so your legs feel supported. Your feet don't have to be flexed or active here. Bring your arms out like a letter T, palms facing up, hands a little bit lower than your shoulders. And just completely release here. Just inhaling and exhaling. This is really good posture for flushing toxins down from your feet. This way they're not fighting gravity as they are most of the day in standing postures. Calms your nervous system. So if you're having a really stressful day or event, you can just come straight into legs up the wall and breathe even for a few minutes to calm yourself down. And you can stay here, or you can come to lie on your back in Shavasana. We're going to take 1 minute Shavasana, letting the fruits of our labor distribute throughout the body. Let yourself get very heavy, as if you're being pulled to the ground. let go of the focus on your breath and completely release. Slowly start to come back into your body by simply deepening your inhale, sighing out through your mouth. On your next inhale, wiggle your fingers and toes, and rotate your wrists and ankles one direction, and reversing, going the other direction. Inhale your arms up above your head, giving yourself a stretch. And exhale, roll to either side. And using your arm as a pillow, stay here for a full cycle of breath. And push yourself back up to seated. You take the same seat you took at the beginning of class. Rolling your shoulders back, closing your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank yourselves for showing up, all your hard work, and thank you for practicing with me.